If you've ever wondered, like, how do people find out how to put their systems together, how to put their steps together? How has Jenny got a vibes, this vibes 5-step pillars, which is actually now the visibility activator program? How does this person have these 3 steps or 5 steps or 7 steps? How can somebody do that when they work with people, sometimes one-to-one, sometimes in groups, and everybody needs something differently? Well, I will share with you, and I'll let you know exactly what this has got to do with visibility and why it's even important. So, if you're new to this group, I am Jenny Kovacs, and I'm sat here in my kitchen amongst the lilies that have been bursting open with my hoodie on because it's quite cool. And I wanted to share something with you because when I started in business, which was 11 years ago at the time of recording this, so 2010, I trained, I coached, I made cakes and I made chocolates, yes, because like you're probably a polymath and you do lots of things really well and want to put them all together. But I wondered, how do I offer my services in a way that means that I'm not like being burnt out, I'm not being run ragged, I'm not working like 18-hour days, which I kind of got accustomed to in my corporate setting before, so I had to untrain myself to do that. Well, one of the things I know about being visible, and for me, this is almost like the nucleus of how and what to share. When somebody approaches me for a podcast, for example, or to speak or to be interviewed, it's now with a system, it's really quick and easy for me to decipher if it's a good fit or not. Okay, so this is the reason why I recommend that you take some time to really dig deep into what your steps are, what your system is. And if you haven't done that yet, it's really not about making up a cute word and then attaching things to it. And there's all sorts of reasons for that, but let's see how we go with time. So I wanted to make this video to explain something and to use a breakfast metaphor. Yes, a breakfast metaphor. So I'm just looking over here because I wrote a few words down of things that I really wanted to include in this video. So when I started, I struggled to know how do I offer the right thing to the right person with cakes and chocolates versus, training and coaching. That was a little bit easier. Someone's birthday, they would like a cake, cakes and chocolates, easy. But what if, and this happened quite a lot, I would attend a training or something like that, and I'd get speaking to people or I'd network and they would say, oh, could you come and speak to my organisation about this thing? Or do you do sales training? Or do you do communication training? So back in the early days, when I was trying to kind of sort this out, I didn't know that there was a kind of an end goal to this. I'll give you an example. I went to a networking meeting. I spoke to a guy who's a financial advisor and had his fingers in a few other pies as well. So multiple streams of income, so good on him. He asked me if I would come and speak to a group that he was affiliated with, where he was part of their sales team. There were about 20 of them, and he wanted, or they wanted, almost like a motivational speaker who understood sales and could give sales tips and help them to goal set all wrapped into one. And I knew I was able to help them with this. So I had a quick conversation with the director of the organisation, and we agreed it would be a great thing for me to come and do. We, agreed on the investment for them. They paid and everything else, and off I went. Now, it only occurred to me how much easier it is for me to do this these days now that I've got my things in step by steps. So I wanted to use this breakfast metaphor because one of the things that I see is almost putting your work into some sort of formula or steps or system. It makes it easier for you to offer to people because, as I just said a little while ago, it makes it easier to know whether it's for them or not. It means that if you're being approached for podcasts, you know which bit of your system you can pull out and what would be a good match or a good fit to speak about on the podcast. You know that if somebody's struggling in a certain area, which part of your steps to start with first. And it doesn't always have to be at the beginning. I've worked with people over the years and helped them with this, and it can be in lots of different orders. So then the other thing that I wanted to say was I spent a lot of time feeling like I had to get like a very deep, specific amount of information from the person before I could say yes. Whereas it occurred to me actually just recently, somebody approached me and asked me whether I would be able to basically offer my freebie to their audience, quite a big audience. And the way in which they wanted me to offer the freebie to their audience was through an event. Okay, and I'm being asked more and more to do this. And it literally takes me 5 minutes to know, A, whether I can really serve them well or not, and B, how I can serve them best. Because I always want them to look like a hero. I always want them to walk away and their audience to say, yes, that was the best person to get that, get that person in. And we really love that information as well. So I can literally do this now in like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, even 5 minutes, even if the audience is a corporate conference, for example, 1,000 people, or an online training of like 2,000 people, which I had last year, or a bespoke training to help people be visible for difficult conversations, which I've done a number of those in the last 18 months to 2 years now. So here's the metaphor that came to me. As I was cooking my breakfast, or cooking our breakfast a few weeks ago, and we were having our same favourite breakfast that we like to have at the weekends, the man went to make a start on the breakfast, and I found myself basically interfering. Oh, what are you doing there? How long has that been in? All of these little questions, kind of digging, just interfering, because I've walked in like halfway through and just wanting to know what stage everything's at cooking, so that I can make sure I put it all on the plate, I can finish it off, put it all on the plate at the same time. Now, it's really funny because I speak to so many people, especially those of you that do more service-based work. So if you're a coach, an author, a consultant, and you're offering a service that somebody can't see, you will be forgiven for thinking, oh, well, I have to have a conversation, a deep conversation with the company or the people or the group before I can make a decision. And to some extent, that's true. So I want you to pause in your brain for a moment and think about one of the services you offer, or the service that you offer, and the one that you offer the most. And literally just get pen and paper and note it down. Now, obviously, if we were working more closely together, I'd be able to go deeper into this and kind of explain more about this and how it all works. But we're not, and you're part of my Vibe Tribe. And so many of you say that you want more confidence to be visible. And I truly believe you get more confidence to be visible, not because you are underconfident or shy or introverted or, socially awkward is what a couple of people have said to me. The term a couple of people have said to me or used with me in the last couple of years. It's not because of that. Sometimes it's just about laying out your work in a way that's digestible for the person you're speaking to hear and to understand. So you don't need a whole hour to go and, explain everything. And what I realised, using breakfast as a metaphor, if you think about it, if you came to my house at the weekend and I was making you breakfast, I would offer you the same thing that we're having. Now, let's say that you are vegan. There are things on that menu that I wouldn't offer you. I would just substitute it with something else. So you'd probably get some nice hash browns, some avocado, and just some nice bits, maybe some kind of like tomatoes, mushrooms, or whatever for your breakfast. But then if you were vegetarian, you might get, egg. You might get the mushrooms, you might get the hash browns, you might get the tomatoes, but you wouldn't get the bacon because you're vegetarian. Now, I say this because I am still offering you breakfast. But how that breakfast looks for the vegan, for the vegetarian, for the meat eater will be slightly different, but it will still be breakfast and based along a similar theme. So hopefully we'll all be eating something similar, or maybe have one common denominator on our plate. But that's how I would approach a system that you've got. So a system isn't about restricting people. It isn't about not caring about the individual. It isn't about trying to conform because this person over there is doing it and you've been watching their work and you admire them, so you're trying to do the same thing. In fact, when you have services that you offer people and you do try and model it on something that you're seeing somebody else doing, that's a surefire, easiest way for you to not sell it. And I see this a lot, amongst my peers and amongst people around me, where you might be a couple of friends in business and you kind of like just say to your business friend, hey, I'm going to talk about this, what do you think? Well, everyone's view is subjective, and the only person's thought that this needs to speak to when it comes to being visible about offering your products, your services and what you do, putting your offers out there, putting yourself out there, putting your business out there, and inviting people to invest, because you will need to do that on a regular basis. I audit my some of my clients' social media feeds and things they put out there, and they'll say, oh, I had a bit of a dry month this month, or I haven't really sold a lot this month. And when I look at their feed, it doesn't tell me what they do. It doesn't tell me that they've got a system. It doesn't tell me that their doors are open, that they're even selling anything, and it doesn't tell me what they're selling. If you want to, have a word with me, send me a PM. It's all well and good, but what am I sending you a PM about? What are we going to do on that private message? So it's really important to dig deeper. So remember the breakfast metaphor. From this moment onwards, you can offer your services to the different types of people. You can bespoke those services to those people, but you need to have some base ingredients in the first place and need to know which bits to swap out. Now, if you don't have a kind of a formula, a system or step by step, and this gets a really big kind of, gets a bit of a knock out there. A lot of people will slate, oh, someone's got a blueprint or a system. But actually, look at those people with their blueprints and systems. And number one, they're more profitable in their businesses. Number two, they're more lucrative. Number three, they transform people's lives really deeply. And number four, for the client on the receiving end of it, whether it's an individual, whether it's a company, whether it's a group, whether it's a team, they can digest the information that's being shared. And to them, it makes sense. Can they run off with your system? No. A lot of business owners won't lay their stuff out because they're scared that somebody somehow will steal their system. And if that's you, that's a case for a kind of intellectual property or trademarking or something like that. But on the whole, all you need to be able to do is know how to serve up your breakfast and who you're serving it to. Which brings me on to another point. If you're not sure who your who is or who your whos are, then you definitely will be interested in something that will be out there in the next few weeks that will really help you to identify who your audience is, how you want to build your business, and how to add that layer of credibility so that you're comfortable being visible, you're confident being visible, and you know which kinds of pieces of information to put out there too. So hopefully helpful. I would like to know, because some of you in the group are really quiet. We're in a visibility group and I don't know what you do or who you are or that you're here. So I'd love you to type below and let us know, what do you do? Now, don't cheat and just type a link to your website or a link to your Facebook page. That doesn't explain to us what you do. Explain, let us know in a one-liner. Who do you help? How do you help them? And what results do you get for them? And if honestly you don't know or it doesn't feel clear, then that's fine too. But I will make a big assumption. If you see this video and you don't post underneath, I will assume it's because you're not quite there yet and you're not quite sure how to position yourself. I don't mind if you've just got started in business. I don't mind if you've been at it for years and you're a pro. I don't even mind if you work a job in the daytime and you've got a bit of a side hustle going on. Don't mind if you're a podcaster. Don't mind if you're a coach, a consultant, an author. I don't even mind if you've got a system or not. If you have got a system, let us know what the system is underneath and what it does for people. you'll be surprised how many people it will be enlightening to them and the first time for you. Now, I know that there is a lot of resistance around this topic out there in the field, and I'm going to challenge you to challenge yourself on this, because even those of you, if you're a coach that helps people to write their own book, you end up advising them to write in chapters. That is a system, those are steps. So whether you like it or not, it's out there, and it just makes it so much easier for people to understand and so much more tangible. So, if you're watching this and this is like the next step for you and you need help with that, of course I'm here. I'm a visibility specialist, and this is a very small part of what I do to help you stand out, to make an impact, to be able to share the story of your business, your life and what you do, so you can put yourself out there. But ultimately, I want you to be able to sell it. Okay, so that's it. Bye for now. Can't wait to see what you post under the comments below. And let's see who we've got here. And I think I might even share this to my YouTube channel as well. So if you're watching this on YouTube, play along too. That's it. Bye for now.